We are coming up on Mother's Day, and something that we don't often speak about, the challenges that many parents face when they try to bond with that new bundle of joy. They are oh so cute, but what do you do? For expert advice, we are joined now by Greer Kirschenbaum, a neuroscientist and author of the novel, The Nurture Revolution. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Oh, so happy to be here.
We had a whole interview before the interview because we were just chatting about so many different pieces to this massive puzzle, Greer. Let's begin at the very beginning. You know, the idea you're going to have a new baby, you're going to bond with this baby. That sounds great. It doesn't always work out that way.
For sure.
What is the biggest piece of advice that you give to parents, to new parents, on how do you make that bond, that connection?
Yeah, it's so important. So many parents will plan very carefully for the birth, maybe for the first, weeks postpartum, but it is so helpful to spend a lot of time thinking about what is life going to look like for the first few months and even up to the first 3 years when we bring our baby home.
And a lot of that is so unpredictable, right? Because even when we try to plan, it gets thrown out and then a whole lot of wrenches get thrown into the mix. So May is also, by the way, if you don't know, Mental Health Awareness Month. So when you look at all of this, what is the most important piece here? Is it thinking of yourself too? Because you want to give everything to this young life. But often we forget to look at what we need to do for ourselves.
Yeah, it's for a lot of people, becoming a mother is sort of that first time in their life where they realize how many needs we really have. And so when I'm thinking about planning for that time and when we're in that time, really thinking about how we can surround ourselves with support. And that can look like who's going to clean the house, who's going to take out the garbage, walk the dog, prepare meals.
Yes.
All these things that mothers often will take on, everything in the household and everything with the baby, and then maybe a job as well.
Yes.
We do need to really bring in our partner, our husband if we have one, our family members, our friends, and really help them meet our needs because we're supporting that little baby.
Often I find I've had a number of friends who've went through postpartum and it's been hard, but they've had difficulty in reaching out. And so though they want to build the village, they don't want it to be cumbersome on any of their other relationships. So as from an outside perspective, is it us that should be also looking in and saying, hey, how are you really doing?
Yes, absolutely. I just got chills there because I remember those experiences I had when I had my son, and people who just came, they showed up with food, maybe something fun, like a fun little gift or something, and said, what do you need right now? Or I want to hear your birth story. I want to hear, really, tell me how you're really doing.
That's it. What is actually going on? Because it's easy to say, yeah, baby's cute. I posted some pictures on Instagram. And then, social media is a whole other thing because there's this idea of perfection. There are these pictures that look perfect.
Yes.
And it's unattainable. It really is.
Yes.
To be able to try to live up to what that is. That's not real life.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And the message of my movement is really, we do benefit the most and our babies benefit the most when we prioritize our relationship. And oftentimes a lot of the doing pieces get in the way of us being together.
How do we know, but how do we know, Greer, that we're doing it right? Is there a right?
Yeah, great question. Definitely not. There's definitely no right. I always will, my book and my work have guidelines for what is really beneficial for babies and really beneficial for parents during this time. But I always say there is no perfect way. There is no one way. There's a million ways to do it well.
And my way might be different from you, right?
Yes.
And that's actually maybe okay and better.
Yeah, for sure. We have to just do our best and really let all the other stuff go. A lot of moms hold on to, if they learn something later, oh, I didn't do that. Even myself, knowing what I know, I've learned a lot since I had my son, and I'm like, oh, I didn't do that, or I didn't do that very much. But I just let it go because I'm like, I did my best.
You did.
I did.
And your best
Your
best was great. And I think you need to tell yourself that too.
Yes.
I did a good job. I did my best.
I always tell moms to remind themselves of that because our brains are always really attuned to negativity and threat and fear. And we do actually have to consciously conjure those moments of happiness, joy, and being proud of ourselves and being kind to ourselves. Sometimes that's the first time that happens in motherhood.
Give ourselves some credit. I could go on forever with you, Greer. You're amazing. Pick up her book, author of The Nature Revolution. This is out now, Greer. Thank you so much.
Thank you.